Humanity entered the council chamber without ceremony, without fanfare, and without the grandiose theatrics the ancient empires used like armor. 5 human delegates walked across the luminous floor, small against the vastness of the hall, yet carrying a weight no sensor could measure. The chamber itself was a masterpiece of alien engineering, a colossal dome of living crystal suspended above a sunlit void, its walls shifting with the subtle pulse of the galaxy's collective politics. Hundreds of species filled the tiered balconies, each one certain they understood the balance of power. They did not yet understand how easily that balance could break. Sarah Chen, humanity's representative, walked at the center of the group. Her posture was calm but precise, like a soldier who had learned to hide discipline beneath diplomacy. She felt the weight of every stare, curious, dismissive, hostile. Humans were the youngest species in the chamber, a civilization still climbing out of the shadow of its own chaotic past. The galaxy tolerated them, but only in the way ancient aristocrats tolerated ambitious strangers at their banquets, politely and from a distance. As Sarah reached the speaking platform, a heavy thud reverberated through the chamber. Commander Thrak of the Vorak Empire rose to his full height, a towering brute of scarred muscle and ceremonial bone plating. His species knew war the way humans knew breathing. The Vorak had conquered half their territory through brute force, and the other half through fear. Thrak's eyes glowed like twin embers as he addressed the chamber. "The humans have filed 17 petitions," he growled, each word resonating through the crystalline dome. 17 claims on territories defended by the Vorak Empire for 8 centuries. They dare ask for recognition? They dare rewrite history? The Vorak delegation slammed their fists against their armor in support. The sound echoed like a battlefield drum. Sarah did not react. She slipped her hands behind her back, fingers interlocking with quiet precision. "The territories in question," she said evenly, "were uninhabited when discovered by our explorers. Humanity settled them, cultivated them, protected them for generations." Murmurs rippled across the hall. The insectoid Zakr clicked in agitation. The reptilian Kalen hissed in irritation. Even the translucent Eldari shifted uncomfortably in their levitation fields. Thrak stepped closer to the edge of his platform. "Your people filed paperwork," he snarled. "Paperwork does not overturn blood." Sarah met his gaze, unblinking. "Then perhaps we should speak of blood." She activated the central holoprojector. What filled the chamber was not intimidation, not fleets, not weapons, but memories. Worlds humans had settled, once barren, now living and thriving. Cities carved into river valleys, oceans seeded with life. Skies held aloft by atmosphere generators repaired with bare hands during storms no alien would dare endure. Then faces appeared, thousands of them. Colonists, builders, children, scientists, farmers, pilots. Entire generations who had lived and died on worlds the Vorak had never so much as set foot upon. The chamber fell silent. Sarah's voice softened but carried farther than any shout. "These people bled too, Commander. Not for conquest. Not for an empire's pride, but to build homes on worlds no one claimed, no one nurtured, no one defended, until we arrived." Thrak growled, but something faltered in his posture. The truth had weight, and even warriors felt it. Sarah continued, "These colonies are not territories, they are memorials. And we will not allow the memory of those who built them to be erased." A shift moved through the hall, subtle as gravity and just as inevitable. Speaker Valderis descended slightly, its energy field flickering in a contemplative blue. "Commander Thrak," it said, "the evidence is clear. The Council will review the human claim without delay." Gasps spread across the balconies. The Vorak had never been challenged so directly. Thrak's claws tightened around the railing, cracking the metal. "You give them hope," he growled. "Hope leads to rebellion." Valderis's form brightened. "Hope leads to truth." The words echoed through the dome like the toll of a distant bell. But Sarah wasn't finished. She shifted the hologram again, showing not just the colonies, but the histories behind them. The storms that tore through the early settlements, the diseases that ravaged populations before cures were found, the mining accidents where humans dug too deep trying to extract rare minerals needed to support the Council's own energy grids. And finally, the silent moments, helmets placed on unmarked graves, flowers woven from local flora laid at memory stones, names whispered by the last survivor of an expedition who watched every friend die around him but continued the mission, not for glory, but because humanity had always pushed forward, even through pain. Sarah's voice trembled, not from weakness, but from depth. These people never asked for recognition. They never sought the approval of this chamber. They simply built the future they believed their children deserved. If the council believes their sacrifices matter, then honor them. If not, she straightened, every line of her body sharpening into icy resolve, then humanity will honor them alone. For a moment, no one moved. The galaxy had seen empires threaten war. It had seen rebellions, coups, assassinations, but it had never seen a species stand before the council and declare that it needed nothing from them. Not weapons, not alliances, not validation. Humanity's strength was not in warships, but in memory, and the galaxy finally felt it. Valderis floated higher, addressing the assembly. Let it be recorded. The council acknowledges the historical evidence presented by the human delegation. A full investigation will begin immediately. The Vorak roared in protest. The Kreks snapped their mandibles. Even the normally silent Thalian observers rustled in agitation. But the decision had been made, and the ripple of its impact traveled out into the galaxy like a shockwave. Sarah bowed her head, not in victory, but in profound exhaustion. She knew battles won with truth were heavier than battles won with weapons. As the holograms faded, and the chamber lights dimmed, every species felt the weight of what had just occurred. Humanity had not come to demand power. They came to protect memory. And for the first time in its ancient history, the galaxy chose to listen. When the humans turned to leave, no one looked down on them anymore. No one dismissed them as children. They watched in silence as the smallest delegation in the hall walked out with the quiet dignity of giants. The shift had begun, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again.